I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on linear relations. Here is a review test for you. I have 14 questions here, and the time allocated for you is 1 hour. I might take about half an hour to solve all these questions and explain you all the concepts. So 1 hour surely is a very good time to finish this test paper by any standard, right? So you can definitely do it in half an hour. So let's go through these questions and answer them one by one. As we move along, I would like you to pause the video, answer it before I provide you with the solution. And then you can always check with my solution. Perfect. So let's begin with the very first one, which is identify slope and y-intercept and then write the equation of the line in standard form. Right. So you can now pause the video, answer, and then check with my solution. Right. Now let's identify the slope and y-intercept. So y-intercept is simple, which is this point, right? So we can write here the y-intercept is given as, in this case, -2, and in this case y-intercept is what? Is none, right? So this is a vertical line which does not have any y-intercept. Now let's talk about slope. As far as the slope is concerned, we are looking for rise over run, correct? That is what slope is. So in the very first graph, we could identify two good points, so that could be the second point. And as you can see, the rise is 2 units, so we get 2 on the top, and the run is 4 units, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 comes underneath, right? So that is rise over run. It is a good practice to always write in lowest terms, right, and in fractions. So half is preferred to 0.5. This is a better answer. Now here, there is no y-intercept. This line is going parallel to the y-axis. And what is the slope? The slope here is, you can see the rise is a lot, but there is 0 run. So you're dividing by 0, so it is undefined. Perfect. So it's very important. These two characteristics are very important for a vertical line. Now we need to write equation of the line in standard form. Now this is very important to understand. We are writing equation of the line in standard form. Standard form means ax plus by plus c equals to 0. That form. Not slope and intercept form. Perfect. Now, as far as the vertical line is concerned, we identify the x-intercept and then write down the equation. So let me take this first. The x-intercept is 3, and therefore the equation for this line will be x equals to 3. And in standard form like this, we'll bring 3 to the left side and we'll write this equation as x minus 3 equals to 0. Perfect. So that will be the equation of the second line. How will you write the equation of the first line? Well, since we have slope and the y-intercept, we could write this equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals to mx plus b, right? So in our case, the slope is half, positive half, and the y-intercept is -2. So that could be the equation. But this equation is in slope-intercept form. Now to avoid fractions, we could multiply by 2. So we get 2y equals to x minus 4. We multiplied everything here by 2. So once you do that, you get rid of this 2, right? Now you can bring all the terms to one side, and it is good to keep always coefficient of x as positive. So what we get here is x minus 2y minus 4 equals to 0. So that becomes the equation in standard form. Is that clear to you? Perfect. So these are the two equations for the given lines. So the very first question is actually one of the most important questions in this set of 14. You should definitely understand all these concepts before moving on. Now let's take up question number 2. Now we have 3 short answer knowledge based questions. Question number 2. Write equation of a horizontal line passing through the point 1, 5. Question number 3. Write equation of a line perpendicular to x-axis passing through the point 2, 3. And question number 4 is, the line L1 has slope of -4 and it passes through origin. Find its equation. You can now pause the video and answer these questions. Here is how I will do it, right? So let me also sketch, give a very small sketch so that you understand what we are doing, right? The very first one is write equation of a horizontal line. That means a line which is kind of like this, which goes through a point which is 1, 5. So we are given 1 point on it. This point is 1, 5. Correct? Now since it is a horizontal line, we know slope m is equal to 0. So if you use equation y equals to mx plus b, m is 0, so y equals to b. So we have to look the y coordinate. Y coordinate is 5, so the equation is y equals to 5. Every point on this line has a y value of 5, and that is how we get this equation. Is that clear? Question number 3. Write equation of a line perpendicular to x-axis passing through point 2, 3. So if it is perpendicular to x-axis, it has to be a vertical line, correct? So that means we are talking about a vertical line. Right? So, and it is going through the point which is 2, 3. So here the x value, this x value is 2, and it is going to be 2 always, and therefore the equation is x equals to 2. Question number 4. The line L1 has slope of -4 and it passes through origin. So origin is right here, and -4 means it is dropping, so it's kind of going like this. Steep line going like this. You need to find the equation of this line. Now in this case we are given the slope m, which is -4, and b, the intercept here is 0, right? It goes through origin. Therefore the equation is y equals to -4x plus 0, right? Plus 0. But you should not be writing 0, just write y equals to -4x. Is that clear? So these are the correct answers for these 3 short answer questions. Is that clear? Perfect. Now let's move on and take the next question. Question number 5. Determine slope, x-intercept and y-intercept of the line y equals to 5 minus 2x. Sketch the graph of the line. So let's begin with the x-intercept. Now how do you find x-intercept? X-intercept is a point where the line crosses x-axis. So here y is equal to 0. So we'll place 0 in our equation. So we get 0 equals to 5 minus 2x, and we can solve for x. So we have 2x equals to 5, or x is equal to 5 over 2, or 2.5. So the x-intercept is 2.5, right? So we can write this as a coordinate point 2.5, 0. The y value is 0. Is that clear to you? So that is the first part done. So we have done the x-intercept. Now, how about the y-intercept and the slope? Let's rewrite this equation. This equation could be confusing for many. We should write this as minus 2x plus 5 to get the correct answer, right? Do not put 5 as your slope and this as your x-intercept. I've seen students making that mistake. So here, now very clearly, the slope is, which is m, is minus 2, right? And the y-intercept, which is b, is equal to 5. Is it okay? in coordinate points, you could write this as 0, 5. Perfect. So that is how you're going to answer these parts. Now, we know that the slope is negative and starts with y-intercept of 5. So I'm going to sketch the line here. Okay. And it also goes through a point which is x-intercept of 2.5. So what I could do here is, since I know 2.5 and 5, so I can say, well, this is my 5, the y-intercept, and that is 2.5, and I'm going to join this. So where this point is 2.5. So if you know x and y-intercept, that is the best way to draw. Did you see that? I did not go to this and then did slope of -2 and all that, correct? So I straight away got the line using the x and y intercepts. So that is very important strategy to understand. So you should understand that I sketched the line using x and y intercepts. Do you get it? So that is simpler than y equals to mx plus b, 5 and then slope of -2 and so on. So I hope you appreciate that point. While choice is yours, you could do the other way also. Perfect. So let's move on and take the other questions. Question number 6. Short answer question, knowledge based. Find equation of a line with slope of 2/3. So we know m is 2/3. Passing through the point given to us is 1 minus 4. Correct? So we can begin with writing equation as y equals to mx plus b. Since we are given the slope, we can write this as y equals to 2/3x plus b. How will you find point B? To find point B, we should use the point given to us. To find the y-intercept B, we should use the point given to us. So what we will do here is that we'll plug in the value of x and y as 1 and -1 in this equation, right? So y is -4. So we'll write -4 equals to 2/3 and x value is 1 plus b. Correct? Now it can be taken on the left side, so we get -4 minus 2/3 equals to b. Common denominator is 3, right? So we get -12 minus 2 equals to b, or -14/3 is equal to b. Correct? So once we get the value of b, we can now write down the equation of the line, which is y equals to the slope 2/3x minus 14/3. Now this is your equation in slope-intercept form. Now we are not saying write it in standard form, so you can leave it here. Perfect. So that is how you are going to do it. Now if you want to give it in standard form, what will you do? So let me extend this, right? So in that case, you multiply by 3 all these numbers. We get 3y equals to 2x minus 14. Bring them together. So we have 2x minus 3y minus 14. Or write this as 2x minus 3y minus 14 equals to 0. So that will be in standard form. But that is not really required. If I mentioned here, write it in standard form, then you have to provide this solution. Is it okay? Now let's take up the next question, which is question number 7. Write equation of a line parallel to this which passes through given point. So if it is parallel lines have same slope. So let's find the slope. We have y plus x equals to 3. So we have y equals to minus x plus 3. So the slope is what? Slope m is minus 1. Correct? So that gives you that the new line which we want should have a slope of minus 1. So we want another line with slope of minus 1 and it goes to the point 1 minus 3. So that means I could write this as y equals to minus, it's not good to write minus 1, so I'm avoiding, I'm just writing minus x plus b. Well, plug in the point 1 and minus 3, 1 for x, bringing it here, minus 3 plus 1 equals to b, which is minus 2 equals to b, correct? So once you get that, you can always write down the equation. So the equation is y equals to minus x minus 2, correct? So that is your general equation. To write it in standard form, we can bring x to this side. So we get x plus y plus 2 equals to 0. So either one of them is the correct solution. Perfect. Now let's look into the next question. Write equation of a line perpendicular to the given line which passes through a point. Now perpendicular line means what? Means negative reciprocal, right? So we're looking for negative reciprocal slope, correct? Okay. So we are given the line as y equals to 2 over 3x minus 1. Slope here is 2 over 3. So slope of perpendicular line should be negative 3 over 2. You get the point. So that is negative reciprocal. Perfect. If you multiply these two, what do you get? If I multiply the slope of the line and the perpendicular line, I get 2 over 3 times minus 3 over 2, which is minus 1. So this is important to understand. So their product is always minus 1. Correct? So now we know that the slope is of a perpendicular line is equal to minus 3 over 2 and the point is 0, 5. Now 0, 5 directly means y-intercept. 0, 5 means what? Y-intercept is 5, right? So when x is 0, this is. If you substitute in y equals to minus 3 over 2x plus b, 0 and 5, you get 5 equals to 0 plus b, which gives you b as 0. But there is no need to do this. You're getting my point. Since we are given you y-intercept. So the equation is y equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 5. So that becomes the solution. So I hope that is absolutely clear. Now we will take up communication questions, okay? So I hope you realize how fast we have already covered 8 questions. Now here we have communication questions. You need to explain what you do to get full marks. Question number 9. Slope of a line with point P, 2, 3 is 1.5. Find any other point on this line. Explain your reasoning. So this is a very interesting question. We have a point which is 2, 3, right? So this point P is given to us as 2, 3. Now, we know that the slope is 1.5. When I say slope, m is 1.5, 1.5 means what? That really means 3 over 2, right? 1.5 is 3 over 2. Right. You could also write sometimes as 15 over 10 and then divide by 5 to get 3 over 2. This is another way. So the slope is 3 over 2. Now, what does this mean? This means slope is change in y over change in x. We write delta y over delta x. That is the change, right? So that really means that the change in y is 3 and change in x is 2, right? So that means here what is the change? Change in y is 3. We know change in y is 3 and we know change in x is 2. Since we know delta y over delta x is 3 over 2. That means what? It really means that to get the next point, what should we do? To the x value, we can add delta x, right, which is 2, and to the y value, 3. So what we will do here is that we will add 2 plus 2, and to 3, we'll add 3 plus 3. You get the idea, right? So our point is going to be 4, 6. You get the idea. That is how we are going to find the next point, not by getting the equation. So we are saying that the slope is 3 over 2. So from here, we go 3 up. 1, 2, 3. So when you go 3 up, this value goes to 6, right? This value goes to 6. And then 2 right. 1, 2. 2 right means we'll add this and it'll go to 4. So we reach a point which is 4, 6. You understand how we got it, right? So we will actually find a point from the very definition of slope. The alternate method, of course, is you can write your equation y equals to mx plus b and then find another point, correct? But this is a simple, straightforward method. I hope you understand and appreciate it, right? So change in y. Perfect. You could do minus also. Right? You could do minus 3 and plus 2, minus 2, both negative, right? And you could get a point on this side. So if I do minus 2, I get 0 here, and minus 3, then I get again a 0. So what do you notice here? That 0, 0 lies on this line. The line passes through origin, right? So that is what the case is. So if you are sketching the line, you will see that the line actually goes through origin, and the first point given to you is 2, 3, right? Go 1, 2 unit, 1, 2, 3. And that is how you are going to draw the line, and you can get many points on this line. I hope this concept is clear, right? Now let's answer question number 10. True or false? Explain your answer. Lines with same slope will never intersect. That is to say, they are parallel. Is it true or false? So the answer is it true? Not always. So I will say it is false. Why did I say so? Well, the lines could be coincident, because the lines could be coincident, one over the other. So if I have a line here, then the other line could be with the same slope, parallel, right? But over it. That is why. So this is an exception, right? So it is not always that your lines are like parallel. Do you understand? This could also be true, and that makes it false. So this statement that they have the same slope or parallel is wrong. They should have different y-intercept also, right? So to correct the statement, we should write they should also have different y-intercept. Is that clear? So that makes the answer absolutely complete. So we are almost at the mid of our test. We have taken half the time, and I like to have a break now. After the break, we will watch the solutions for rest. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful nature here in the city of Toronto. It's really cold. But well, the wild animals make it interesting and the snow makes it beautiful. Now let's continue with our solution to the test paper with a fresh mind. Question number 11. Explain three methods to sketch the line 2x minus 3y equals to 6. So normally a graph paper will be given to you. However, I'm just making some rough sketches here, which are good enough. Okay, three methods. So what are the three methods? Now this is the equation of the line. I will say method 1 is use intercepts. Very few students use this method. However, you'll find this is very effective way of sketching lines. So the equation given to us is 2x minus 3y equals to 6. So how do you get the x-intercept? We did it earlier. That means y equals to 0. So if I substitute y equals to 0, what do I get? I get 2x equals to 6 since y is 0. So that tells you that x is equal to 6 over 2 or 3. So we have an x-intercept which is 3. Correct? Now, let us find the y-intercept. So when I say y-intercept, it means x is equal to 0. So that really means x is 0. So we get 0 and we are left with minus 3y equals to 6. Dividing by minus 3, 6 divided by minus 3 gives us minus 2. So the y-intercept is minus 2. So we have a point here, the x-intercept being 3 and the y-intercept being minus 2. X is 0. So these 2 points, y-intercept means minus 2, let's say 1, 2. So that becomes y-intercept. Y-intercept is minus 2 and x-intercept is 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So that is x-intercept. So using this method, I get a straight line going through the x and y-intercept, and that's how I'm going to sketch it. So this is minus 2 and that is 3 for us. Is it okay? So this is the best way when you're given any standard form of the equation. Well, that is our case number 1. Now let's do method 2. Method 2, of course, is to rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. So we have 2x minus 3y equals to 6. So we can rearrange and we can say minus 3y equals to minus 2x plus 6. Divide by minus 3, so we get minus 2 over minus 3x plus 6 over minus 3, which is 2 over 3x minus 2. So we again get slope and intercept form. Now we know that minus 2 is our y-intercept. So that is the point minus 2. Slope is 2 over 3, so we'll go up 2, right? That is rise and run of 3. 1, 2, 3. You reach this point, join them, get your line. You get the same line. Perfect. Okay, now how do I find the third method? Well, the third method is really to get set of points, right? So what we can do is we can just make a table. And for different values of x, we can find the values of y. Does make sense to you, right? So that is what we are going to do. So we have already isolated our equation as y equals to, so we can use this point. We know we'll take x values and we know y is 2 over 3x minus 2, right? So let's take some values for x and then y. So if I write x equals to 0, in that case y will be minus 2. And if I write x equals to 3, it's good to take 3 to avoid fractions. So if I take 3, so I get 2 over 3 times 3 minus 2. 3 and 3 goes, and what we get here is 0. Do you see we get the same 2 points? Once you get these points, connect them and draw your line. So that is your third method. By selecting few points, correct? So I could have taken 6 also here. So let me write 6 here. So if I write 6 here for x, 6 goes 2 times. 4 minus 2 is 2. So we get y value of 2, right? So 6, 2 will be our next point on this particular line. Let's say here. Is it okay? So that is how you sketch your line. So I hope this concept is clear. So we are done with the communication part. Now let's move into application and thinking questions, which could be very tricky. So question number 12 is a thinking and application question. Peter is walking at a constant speed in front of a motion sensor. After 1 second, he is 3 meters from the sensor. 2 seconds later, he is 6 meters away from the sensor. Find the equation in the form d equals to mt plus b. How far will Peter be from the sensor 5 seconds after he begins his walk? You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. So let's make a rough sketch, right? And then I'll explain you, and we'll also understand how to solve. So what are we given here? So let's say this is time t, and that is the distance d. We're talking about distance in meters and time in seconds. After 1 second, he is 3 meters away. So let's say this is 1 second, and this is 1, 2, 3. So he's 3 meters away from the sensor. 2 seconds later, that means this is 1, right? So 2 seconds later will be at this point, 2 seconds later. So let me just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's try to understand. After 1 second, Peter is 3 meters away. Now 2 seconds later means he is in this position. He is 6 meters away. So he is 6 meters away, so we'll go 3 more up. So after 2 seconds, he is 6 meters. 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see that? So he goes 1 more up here, 6 meters. So this becomes 6. So the point here is actually, so after 2, that means this change from here to here is 2 seconds. So what is this time? This time is 1, 2, and 1, 3. So not 2. Perfect. So this point here is 3, 6. So that gives you the second point. Perfect. Find the equation of the form d equals to mt plus b. You get the idea. So that is how you're going to get your points, and then that is your line, right? So this is your line which is going up. Now let's find the equation. So you're given 2 points. So whenever we have 2 points, our points here are 1. This point is given to us as 1, 3. Do you see that? The other is 3, 6. So we have 2 points. Let's call them A and B. Let's call this as A and this as B. So A is 1, 3 for us, and B is 3 and 6 for us. So the slope M is 6 minus 3 divided by 3 minus 1. 6 minus 3 is 3 over 2. So that is the slope for the given scenario. Is that okay? Now let's find the y-intercept. So we have y equals to 3 over 2x plus b. To find b, we'll use one of these points. So let's use 1 and 3 for example. So 3 equals to 3 over 2 plus b. Bringing it on this side, we get 3 minus 3 over 2 equals to b, which is take common denominator of 2. 3 times 2 is 6, 6 minus 3. So that gives you 3 over 2 again. So b is also 3 over 2. Since b is 3 over 2, the equation could be written as y equals to the slope, which is 3 over 2, x plus 3 over 2. Correct? So that is the equation of your line. So in our case, since we are using d and t, we should not write x and y. We'll write the equation as, let me rewrite this, as d plus d equals to mt, as d equals to 3 over 2 t plus 3 over 2. So where time is in seconds and distance is in meters. So that becomes your equation. So we have done the first part. Now second part is, how far will Peter be from the sensor 5 seconds after he begins his walk? That is to say, we need to find when will, at 5 seconds, where will he be? So t equals to 5. So we'll just put t equals to 5 here. So the distance equals to 3 over 2 times 5 plus 3 over 2. Is that okay? So that is what his distance will be. Correct? So that will be 15 plus 3. So we can write this as 15 plus 3 over 2, which is 18 over 2. So distance is equals to 18 over 2 or 9 meters. So it will be 9 meters. So I hope you understand how we could solve this particular question. So have a good look at it. The trick part here is, he is 3 meters from the sensor, 2 seconds later means when time is 3, right? So that is 2 seconds later. That should help you to understand how to solve this type of question. Now let's take question number 13. Question number 13 is also an application question. For safety reasons, an extension ladder should have a slope between 6.3 and 9.5 when it is placed against a wall. Determine if each of the following ladders has been placed within safe range. A ladder reaches 4 meters up the wall. The foot of the ladder is 0.5 meters from the wall. So let's make the scenario, right? So what we have here is, let us say this is the floor, that's the wall, and then we have a ladder here which is kind of like this. Okay, now the situation given to us is, ladder reaches 4 meters up, so this is 4 meters up. The foot of the ladder is 0.5 or half meter, right? So this is 0.5. So we can directly get rise over run, so slope m is rise over run. So in our case, it is 4 over 0.5. I should write 4 over 0.5. So when you divide, you get 8, right? Now 8 is within this. We are checking with this interval. So 8 is definitely between these two values, so it is safe. Now let's do the second question. Now in the second scenario, foot of a 4 meter ladder is placed 0.6 meters from the wall. Now in this case it is kind of tricky, right? So let's try to understand this. Let's say the question here now says that foot of 4 meter ladder. So the length of the ladder is given to us as 4 meters this time, is placed 0.6 meters away from the wall. So that is the situation. And of course we'll assume this to be right triangle. Then we have to solve it. So directly do not use the value 4 and 0.6. Otherwise you'll get a wrong answer. So let's use Pythagorean theorem to find the height, right? So we need to find how high the ladder will reach. So we know that 4 square is equal to h square plus 0.6 square. So 4 square minus 0.6 square equals to the height square, correct? And then we'll do square root. 4 square is 16 minus 6 square is 36 with 2 decimals. That will give you the height, correct? So we have to use calculator to find this height. So we have to do square root of 16 minus 0.36 equals to, within decimal values we'll take. So the height here is 3.9, we'll take 5. Is it okay? So approximate it to 3.95. So not really 4. Do you understand? Now we have to find slope. So slope now will be equal to height over this distance of 0.6, which is 3.95 divided by 0.6. Right? So we are going to divide 3.95 with 0.6. 3.95 divided by 0.6 equals to decimal value 6.58. So we get 6.58, which is also safe. Do you see that? So which is also safe. So we got this also safe. Just safe. Do you see that? So we are slightly more than this, and so we are kind of safe. So I hope that helps. So at times you might be given the length of the ladder. So be careful. Perfect. Now let's take the last question, which is the bonus question for us. Question number 14. It's a bonus question. Anil is driving from Montreal to Toronto. After 3 hours, the milestone shows a distance of 300 kilometers for Toronto. And after 2 hours, the milestone shows a distance to Toronto as 140 kilometers. If he continues with the same speed, how much more time will he take to reach Toronto? Perfect. So that's the question for you. What all you should know? First, you should know the distance-time relationship, right? So I'll make this triangle here. We know distance, d, is speed into time. That is one thing we should know, right? So, and from here we can say time is distance divided by speed. Perfect. So that is what you should know. Now, let's read the question carefully. Anil is driving from Montreal to Toronto. After 3 hours, milestone shows a distance of 300 kilometers for Toronto. So that really means that we are approaching, right? So this is Montreal for us, and we are approaching Toronto. So after 3 hours, let's say this is after 3 hours, the distance is 300 kilometers. Correct? Then it says that, and after another 2 hours, the distance shown by the milestone is 140 kilometers. Time taken t is 2 hours here. Do you see that? Now since distance changed from 300 to 140, that means how much did you cover? So in this case, what we are doing, how do we find the speed? Speed is rate of change, right? Speed is rate of change of distance with time. Correct? That means speed is equal to change in distance over change in time. Right? Always speed is positive. Remember that. So what is the change in distance? Change in distance is 300 minus 140. Because still 140 is remaining. Earlier it was 300 remaining. And the change in time is 2 hours. So that is how we are going to do it, right? So you can use the calculator, figure it out. So we have 300 minus 140 equals to 160 divided by 2 is equal to 80. So we get this 80. And of course it is kilometers per hour. So that is the speed, rate of change. Perfect. Now, the second part of this question is, if he continues with the same speed, how much more time will he take to reach Toronto? So now, how much time will he take to reach Toronto? So the distance is 140 left, right? So 140 kilometer to go with speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Clear? So time should be how much? Time should be 140 kilometers divided by 80 kilometers per hour to get hours, right? So we'll just divide 140 by 80. So we'll do 140 divided by 80 equals to 7 over 4, which is equal to 1.75 hours. So 0.75 could be written in minutes, right? Times 60 equals to 45. That means 1 hour, 45 minutes. Does make sense. So that is how this question is going to be solved. So our answer is here is 1 hour, 45 minutes. So I hope all the steps are absolutely clear. This is a very important question. Slightly difficult though. So it's a bonus question for you. So with that, we complete our test paper of 14 questions. I hope you have done well in time and you find it interesting and useful. The examples taken here are all from previous test papers. So if you do it religiously, in that case, you're definitely going to get very good marks in your test. So feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks a lot for watching and all the best.